And hi, everybody. But, you know, the applause was for him, I know. It has to be.
I need all the help I can get. There's your Ribena.
Sit down, boy. I didn't call him boy, I called him Roy. Or Jeeves. Why don't you tell him that story?
We haven't, no.
Come on, tell him about the luggage deal. Go on.
No. I will. In a minute. First of all, before I do, I want to say thank you to everybody that's come here. Hooray. Thank you. Lovely to see you. You know, this has been a fabulous 3 days. It's been a bit tense at times.
Thank you guys so much. You'll never know what it means to us.
But it's been a really, really good time. It's gone so fast. And one of the reasons that it's gone so well is because of some people who gave up the time willingly. They forced me, in fact, some of them. Just wanted to work. But the volunteers, we had 59 volunteers this time.
Boy, thank you guys. We couldn't do it without what you all did. Appreciate it tremendously.
And they worked so hard. They did such a great job. And for that, they're getting nothing. Please, stand up, volunteers. Thank you guys very much indeed. God, I wish I'd made him stand up, don't you? Few little things, phones down, heads up. And we can start this. Robert likes to have lots and lots of questions. Good questions, so please feel free to ask questions. We're going to be about an hour and a quarter, so let's get some pace going. Speak up loud, because we don't have a roving mic, so shout. I can't think of too much else to say now. Is that about it? Have you got anything you want to say?
No, just that I'm thrilled that everybody's here, and we're doing another fandom Q&A, which is always fun for me to do, and to have everybody here and you. But I do want you to tell the story about the luggage and Jeeves. And tell it the correct way.
Okay. You notice I'm wearing new boots.
Oh, by the way, he has new boots. two new pair of boots. He's trying to break in at the ranch now.
$35 in Foster's. Top quality. Right, here we go. We're sitting in there.
2 pair for $20.
But they're all of them are left-footed. So anyway, we're sat in an airport. We're by the gate, actually, ready to go to a festival. I think it might be Memphis, something like that. Anyway, we're drinking Starbucks, having a nice time, talking to each other. He's actually talking to me like I'm a civilized human being, which I think is quite nice. So I'm lavishing it, you know, really. And we're waiting. Now, I've got to tell you, he had a slightly better ticket than me. I'm travelling coach. He's travelling FC. So he gets called up first. And he looks at me and he says, I'll see you when we get there. I said, yeah, okay, I'll see you on the plane. And he walks across to where they check the passport and all of that. And I'm just sitting there thinking, smart ass. But anyway, that didn't matter. He gets to the gate and he turns around in front. I mean, this is the majority of people on the plane. He turns around and at the top of his voice he says, boy, don't forget to get my luggage at the other end.
So, at the other end.
So, we get back to Dallas, and I've forgot all this. So we get off the plane, and our luggage is coming off on the carousel. He's come back first class, I've come back coach. I'm bent, he's straight. And we get to the carousel. When I say I'm bent, I don't, we get to the carousel, and the luggage is going round. I just said to him, yeah, I'll go and see if our luggage is coming off. So I get up to the luggage, and I go across to the luggage. And I get up like this, and I'm walking, I'm just stood, and I hear a voice behind me saying, Jeeves, has the luggage come off yet? And hurry up.
Jeeves. I mean, when a guy is born with the name of Jeeves, you know what his life is the rest of his life. He's a butler, right?
So everybody looks across at me, and I'm embarrassed. So I turn around and I say, "Will, please don't hit me anymore, please."
I swear to God, he's not even doing it. It's good. Oh, you almost went to the ground. Oh, please, sir, don't hit me. No, no, no. And I got all these people looking at me like I'm the worst guy in the world. That I had a whip. Good story.
So,
True story, though. That's the fun we have when we're all together, you know, he and I.
we do. It's anybody hot? Are you hot? Is it hot in this room, or is it just me?
Yes.
Hot. Hot. Anyway, right, we want to start with some questions.
What are you, Patrick Wayne? I mean, Alex Cord? Is it hot in here?
I know. This room is really hot. Anyway, have you got anything you want to say to the audience before we start?
Start.
Okay, questions. Has anybody got any questions? Because if you haven't, I have. Okay.
Look at all the hands. 50 hands went up.
Look, come on, there's one over there. Stand up and shout.
Do you still play the spoons?
Can I still play the spoons? Yeah, I play the
Of course you
spoons.
still do. Can you
Oh, I love to play the spoons. Of course, that's my musical, you know.
Would you sometime be able to do it during the question and answer today?
Do what?
Would you sometime be able to do it during the question and answer today?
No, I don't think so, because I only play special spoons. And if I don't have my spoons, I can't play the spoons. Okay? Sorry about that.
No problem.
Do you want to go? Yeah, you.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, Monday is Veterans Day, so thank you for your service.
Thank you, dear. Oh, yeah, thank you all. Thank you. That's true. Yeah.
Second of all, when you were going to do a gunfight scene, did you prefer to do a straight shoot or a drop and shoot?
Well, you know what? That's an interesting question, and it really is. It depended on what the other guy that I was going to shoot at had to do. I figured that out. Of course, I did all the stunts, and I did that. If it was just a stand-up one-on-one, it was probably just a stand quick draw against each other. But if I had to shoot one or two people or something, I always did the draw, hit the ground, go up and fan and kill them both. Kill for the love of killing. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Well, all in the front row. Go.
I'm new, so I'm sure you've answered this question before, but I noticed that you rode the same horse all the time during Laramie. How did you acquire him?
And how did what was the last
How
part?
did you get him?
How did I find that horse or what?
Yes.
Well, that was my horse, Hoot. Quick story, most of you all know it, but I'm going to tell you because you don't know and I'll tell it quickly. I had already signed to do a series called Laramie and played the part of Jess Harper. But it wasn't going to start for about 2 or 3 months. So I was still working, doing other shows. I think I did I don't even remember what I did, but I did another Lawman. And on this Lawman, the Wrangler brought up this horse for me to ride on this show. And the second I got on that horse, the two of us clicked, and I said, my God, this is a fabulous horse. He was 15 years old at that time. Well, that's about the right age for a horse to have some smarts, and horse people know that. So I said to the Wrangler, who worked for Warner Brothers, Richie Brim, my fat Wrangler friend for the rest of my life, I said, I want this horse. And he said, well, it belongs to Fat Jones at the Wrangler place. And I said, well, I want him. I want to buy him. I want this horse. I want to ride this horse on Laramie. So they arranged it. And I bought the horse. I had the horse. God, I used him, on movies and everything else. He was my horse. And he was a fabulous horse. He was one of the best picture horses ever.
Very nice.
Okay, I want to ask a question. This is a story I don't think you've heard, and this is really good. I want to ask you about something called a thigh-gal.
Figal, that's a fish.
It's a fish. Okay,
Yeah.
it's a fish. Well, tell these people about the thigh-gal.
Who here knows who Jimmy Franciscus is? The actor Jimmy Franciscus. Everybody, right? You have to. You've seen him. He had series. He was a good friend of mine. He used to play tennis and I played tennis, and we were on a tennis tournament in New Jersey one time. And somebody up there had a great boat, and they were going to take us fishing if we wanted to. We had a day off to go fishing for bluefish. And Jimmy hadn't been out on boats very much, but I had. Of course, I was raised in Florida, and I'm okay. I don't get seasick. But they took us out, and the weather was a little rough that day, and Jimmy wasn't feeling well. And the fish weren't biting worth a darn. I don't think we even caught one fish. But we're all having a good time, drinking a little bit, and Franciscus gets very sick and goes down below to lay on the couch down below. And we're going along, and all of a sudden the captain says, I got an idea how to wake him up and get him up here. He said, we'll catch a fish called a figal. And I said, a figal? I've been fishing all my life. I've never heard of a figal. What is it? He said, it's a 5-gallon can. They tied a 5-gallon can on the line, threw it in the water, and let it troll back out about 200-300 feet. And you can imagine that it works just like a fish. And they said, go get your partner. I went down to Jimmy and I said, get up! It's your turn to catch it. We got one on the line. We got a figal. You've got to catch this figal. Come on, wake up, get up, get up. And he goes, oh, okay, all right. And he comes up and he sits in the chair and we give him the rod. And for an hour, he fought. I know, I'm the bad guy. But you all know that to start with anyway. It was an hour. It was a half an hour. He fought a 5-gallon can to finally get up to the boat. I thought he was going to kill me after that. But he caught a figal.
Show of hands. Oh, wow. Right, let's go, Ray. Shout.
You told us before that you choreographed all your own fight scenes. So when filming a fight scene, how many takes would typically be needed in order to film it from start to finish?
Huh, good question. Hopefully not more than one take per scene. When you choreograph a fight, it's just like choreographing a dance scene in a motion picture, because you have to cut from here to here to here to here. And I always hopefully used the same stuntman that I would have double somebody else, Hal Needham, because he was a good fighter and I trusted him. I knew he was not going to break my nose. He was too good. So I would, the night before, I got that script probably the day before. And I would say, okay, fight scene in bar. Jess has a fight scene. So in my mind, I would choreograph how the fight scene would start, middle, and end. And the next morning, I would go in. When it came time to shoot that scene, the director and the cameraman were with me 100%. They knew that I did it all the time anyway. We would set it up, we'd rehearse it a couple of times. A right, a left, a stomach, a this. You hit there, you go there. Cameraman would say, okay, once you're down there, pick it up from there and go over there, we do it, we move around, you're gonna go across the table. You can't do it all in one complete shot. and we would do that. We'd set it up, and usually it'd be about one take, because we're breaking tables, we're breaking everything you can think of in a good fight like that. But myself and the stuntman that I used, we did it pretty well. So I don't ever remember doing 2 takes on a complete fight scene. We would rehearse it enough where it was going to go for real, and we went for it. How we did it.
Incidentally, just for those who don't know, the one in particular you're talking about is it's Duel at Alta Mesa.
Duel at Alta Mesa, yeah.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen that Laramie episode, it really is a good fight scene to watch.
Oh, that's one of my favorite fight scenes of ever that I did with Hal Needham, yeah. And
Yeah.
who was the actor I was supposed to be fighting with?
Dick York, was it Dick York?
No, it wasn't Dick York.
Ron Hayes.
Ron Hayes?
Ron Hayes, that's
Yeah, right, yeah. But so I had Hal Needham double him, and they were perfect. He was a perfect double.
Yeah, yeah.
For
it was a
Ron.
great fight scene.
And yeah, that was a good fight scene. We set that up. That was a lot of fun to do. Yeah. I love those fight scenes.
You know, interesting in that fight scene, that when you finish the fight, you punch him, and he goes to fall down, and you catch him and hold him up and punch him again.
One more time, that's me. Kill for the love of killing.
I wonder though, when you know.
Well, he deserved it.
Yeah, but how much, like in
No, I set it up. I set that fight up. Every punch that I did and every punch he took, I choreographed.
Yeah, but you choreograph it as Robert Fuller. But how, in your mindset, are you kind of trying to think like Jess Harper when you're choreographing that, because you're not acting?
Is there a difference?
Well, he's only. When he hits me, he lets me fall, I can tell you that. But
No,
you know what I mean?
you know what? No, that's a beautiful, beautiful thought that you're talking about. And it would be hard for me to answer that question. You know, I am Robert Fuller, but I'm also playing a character, Jess Harper. But I'm playing him as if it would happen to me, coming from my mind. So I guess that whatever I did fell into what Jess Harper would do.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I would do. I'd hit that son of a buck 6 more times if I could. You know, that's just the way I am. I'm sorry, but does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does actually, yeah. It's kind of like.
Well, that's what made Jess Harper the interesting character, I guess, that he was. You know, he got in those situations, and you know, I'm not going to slap a guy. You get in a good fight, you do it. So.
Yeah, I know, I get that. We'll go down the front here, because I can see you.
Well, so you knew your characters so well, and the writing was so good on the show, but were you ever given a scene to do that you thought did not ring true for your character?
Absolutely. That's a nice question. She asked, did everybody hear that?
No.
She asked if scenes came up that I'm supposed to do that I didn't feel rang true. I had the ability, because John Champion, who produced the show, was a friend of mine, the ability to say, this scene isn't right. I would rather say this instead of that. And he would always say, you can change anything you want to change in a script, because it was overnight. I mean, we used to get our script one night and go to work the next morning, week after week after week. And he would say, as long as you don't change the context of the whole scene, you can change anything you want dialogue-wise to make it right for you, to feel good, which I thought was a great break to be able to do. And I did.
Did they give you that in Wagon Train as well? Did you have
Oh,
that?
absolutely. I've done every movie I've ever done, every television show, whatever. The first thing I do when I get the script is I open it, I read it, and if I don't like the dialogue, I change the dialogue. The character that I'm playing would say, because I want to say the dialogue the way I would say the dialogue, not the way it was written, because it doesn't make sense to me. And the first thing I would do the next morning, I'd go to the director. If I'm doing a movie or a new TV show that I'm not a star of or whatever, and I would say, this is what I want to do. I want to change this to that to that. And they would say, wow, sounds much better. Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go with that lady right at the back.
Yeah, hon.
That's what leads into my question. As an actor, you've had a nice, different type of acting situations. You've had abilities to be in roles for years at a time, and then later in your career, you were more guest stars in a lot of different scenes, playing a lot of different roles. Which do you think you would have preferred if you could have chosen one or the other? Playing a lot of different roles, or playing, say, Jeff Harper or Dr. Brackett for 20 years?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. Honey, the best thing that can happen to an actor is to play every part that he can possibly get involved in, to play, to become at ease with himself as an actor on camera. That's why doing a play is so fantastic, because you get to do it every night after, and things change. You learn about it. You learn the response from the audience to make the actor come out of you to do different things. No, I love the fact that I've started out as an extra, a dancer, a stuntman, a one-liner, to a two-liner, to a 10-liner, to a 15-liner, to a guest star, to a series. And if all that hadn't have happened to me, I would not have grown as an actor to where I got to the final point of my career, or not the final point, but Laramie, where I was sure of what I was doing as an actor, and confident about it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Does it really? Did I answer that question? Okay, yeah. You know, of course, you have to understand, I studied acting. My acting coach was Richard Boone for 3 years, way before he did Half Gun Will Travel, and he sent me to New York to study with Sandy Meisner at the Neighborhood Playhouse. But Dick Boone was a straight-ahead type of actor. Sandy Meisner taught a little bit of the method. If you know anything about the method acting, that's where, you know, oh my God, you have to cry in a scene, you got to go back in your mind and think about my dead dog, my dead cat, my dead father, and spend 2 hours trying to cry. That's BS, as far as I'm concerned. You know, you've got to believe in the character you're playing, and if you're playing it for real, it's going to happen to you. Those emotions will come to you if you believe in the scene that you're playing with, and that's what Dick Boone taught us. When he sent me back to Sandy Meisner, I said, now, you graduated from Sandy Meisner. He was your coach, but isn't he a little method? And he said, yes, he is. He said, but I'm going to tell you something. Take a little, leave a little. And that made the best sense in a while. So I did. I studied for a year with Sandy in New York, and I took a little and I left a little. And came back to Dick and learned how to act believably under imaginary circumstances, as if it was happening to you, me.
Good. Right here.
Kind of along the same line. You played Jess Harper in Laramie, and then years later, you played a descendant of Jess Harper on Walker, Texas Ranger. How did you feel playing a descendant of yourself?
It was kind of thrilling. It was, they were great writers that wrote that. They're friends of mine. But no, I thought it was very interesting. And Chuck Norris went for it in the New York second, and let me, because Chuck was an old friend of mine anyway. I guess I did 3 or 4 of those. But to play Wade Harper, it was a thrill. It really was. I said, my God, I'm still alive. If you think about it, really, yeah. But Jess Harper comes to life again. Well, because the one I did with my daughter and the jewelry robbery and all that thing, and that was a modern day Jess Harper. If you think about that show, where I wore the gun and I walk in and somebody says something and I just go like that and show the guy the gun, and then later on you find out the place has been torn to pieces. Guess who tore it to pieces? No, it was great. Thank you. That's a good question. I love that.
Oh, somebody from the back, I think. We'll go there. We'll come to you in a minute. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Along the lines of where you play the emotion, it comes to you. but when you do your scenes, aren't they split up? Like you don't run through a whole scene. Isn't you do one scene and then another part of that scene? So how do you keep that emotion going?
You talking about the fact that every time we do a movie, things aren't shot in sequence?
Yes.
I mean, you could shoot the end of the movie the first day of shooting. You all know that, or if you don't, when we get a script, it doesn't. We don't start shooting the first day of dialogue and shoot every day forever, because you got to go back to the rocks, you got to go back to the water. In different scenes, so all of those, everything is set up so you do this at one time, this at one time, that at one time, and you shoot the end of the movie. But that's when it comes to the scene itself. I'm going to think of one. I did one Laramie with a very, very lovely little actress named Jenna Engstrom, and she was blind. In it, and see, I play off of her, and she was a fabulous actress. So I got two of them. That was kind of a dramatic situation. I don't care. It could have been the fourth day of the show. It could have been the second day. It could have been the last day. But it was the scene that we shot that day. And my feelings as we were shooting the scene take over from I guess from who I am to the part and to the girl that I'm playing with and what she's saying to me, and if it's and if you really want to put it as if it's happening to you, I'm trying to say that, if that makes sense. Those emotions will come to you. I did it. Okay, I'll tell you exactly. I did the one I did with Carol Lawrence.
Wagon train.
What?
Wagon train.
The wagon train. Widow O'Rourke. When she dies. Carol Lawrence, what a doll she was. I had so much fun working with Carol. She was such a sweetheart. And she was a very young girl. She was 27, 28 years old, playing a 90-year-old woman in that thing. And such a good actress. And the rapport that we had in this off-screen, in-screen, were great. She was a friend, I knew her or whatever, but also the Cooper Smith and she had this rapport. And when she died, and I had that scene at her grave, where I say, God, it's hard to say right now, Madame. You see how it works? God, I couldn't explain it any more than that. That it comes out. You do it, and you're thinking for real about this person that you had a rapport with in the thing. And I hope that answered your question.
I thought that was a really good answer, actually.
Okay.
I love that show. That was so much fun to do.
Pat. You.
Okay.
Pat, can you stand up?
Pat Goldhammer. Hi, Pat.
Hello.
How are you, honey?
I recently saw a stage show called Boeing, and I realized you'd done Boeing. Do you have any memories you'd like to share about working on stage?
Do you have any memories from working on stage?
Working on stage?
Yeah.
Or doing plays, you mean?
Yeah, play.
Oh my God, oh yeah. Now that's fun. You can you can have a lot of fun doing stage plays because you're going to do it every night for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I don't know how many plays I've done, and I've done them with dear friends, with actors. I've done them, with people. Millions of things happen. I'll give you one quick one. I was doing a play called Wait Until Dark. If you all remember that movie, that great movie. Anyway, I did that play 3 or 4 times in different places. But I was doing it in Reynoldsburg, Ohio on New Year's Eve. I guess I was probably in our third or fourth week of it in Reynoldsburg. And in the show starts in the dark with the audience. It's a dinner theater, you know, so people are out there having dinner before the play starts, and they're having their drinks and they're doing whatever. I've done it for 2 or 3 weeks, and now it's New Year's Eve. And the scene starts with me in the dark, opening the door, coming into the living room, walking down the steps to get to the main stage area, which is lit with little diamond lights for me so I don't fall down, to get to where I am. And then I go in and I turn a light switch on, and all the lights come up in this apartment because I'm a robber in it, you know, really. And I'll never forget New Year's Eve. I open the door, I come down, get the thing, hit the switch, the lights come up, and I've got 200 people in party hats and whiskey all over the table that are drunker than $900, and I've got to do 2 hours of a play in front of these crazy people. They were talking to me on stage. I had one guy, I mean, as close as this, talking to me, and I finally walked over to the edge of the stage and I said, "You want to get up here and be part of this play?" I swear to God. Yeah. And everybody clapped. Too. But those things happen. Another one, quickly, I was doing chapter 2 with my first wife, with Patty and Joe Mascolo, and we're doing it at Burt Reynolds Dinner Theater, and Burt had directed it. And there's a scene in it, chapter 2. You all remember chapter 2 at all? Anything like that? A Neil Simon play. And there's a scene where the husband and wife have a big fight together. And it's, again, dinner theater. People are closer than I am to you now, much closer. And in the middle of the scene, where I'm arguing with her, a woman says, "Oh no, they're arguing. I can't stand it. Don't." Yeah. I mean, right, I could touch her. That's how close she was. And I'm doing a play, same dialogue, you know, to Patty like this. And this woman's going, "Oh no, I hate to see them argue like that." Yeah. Finally, they had to have people come down the aisle and grab her and take her out. I swear to God. So that's, you know, you can do that. You can do that. So, thank you. It's fun.
You got any more?
But, okay, one more. Those were real things, but I could tell you what we do behind scenes. Again, I told you, I did Wait Until Dark, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, different theaters. There's a scene in it where Carlito, another guy, comes in with me finally as we're going to rob this place, and he goes into the refrigerator and finds a sandwich, a ham sandwich. Well, this was a friend of mine, and one night I took Tabasco sauce and I spread that sandwich with Tabasco sauce like you couldn't believe, because he's got to eat it on stage. And he has no idea, okay? And we're all waiting. We in the cast knew, but of course the audience doesn't know. And as the scene comes, he takes that first bite out of that sandwich, and you could see his eyes start to tear up. And he's got dialogue. He's got to say things. He's going, but we would do things like that to each other. So, you know, plays are fun. They really are to do. Thank you, Pat. Great question.
Mary.
I think we all know that you work with some incredibly legendary characters.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing it. Say what?
I said, I think we all know that you work with some incredibly legendary actors and actresses. But is there anybody that you wish you would have gotten a chance to act with and didn't? Me.
Anybody?
You've worked with some incredibly legendary actors and actresses, but is there anybody you would have liked to have worked with that you didn't?
My God, probably 1,000 great actors. Well, you all know we're here for Joe McRae. For this thing, I finally got to work with that fantastic man. And I got to work with Ernie Borgnine. I've worked with. I'm very, very fortunate. No, I can't think of anybody that. If I did, the list would be this long. You know what I mean? There's so many great people out there that that I haven't worked with that I would have liked to have worked with, but you know.
So I had somewhere was okay. Let's go.
I know that you have horses are trained to do different stunts during your show. What I wondered is, at those times when you would be leading Hoot along and next thing you know, he would be lame. I'm wondering, did you have a stand-in horse or was he trained for that?
Great question. Great. Hoot had a double. His name was Hemet. And he didn't have a blaze, so the only reason I would use Hemet sometimes if I had to go down some rocky mountainsides or something like that I didn't want to, put Hoot through, and they'd paint the blaze on Hemet because Hemet was a younger, tougher horse, but exactly the same conformation and everything. You couldn't tell the difference. He was great, but that's not the answer to your question. The question is, when you want to make a horse limp, and you all have to understand this, you don't hurt the horse. I wouldn't allow that anyway, and nor would standards and practices and the people that are on the set all the time. But my wrangler would take a piece of wild if who had to limp a little bit, and he'd just gently put it around the hoof, tighten it just enough where he didn't like that. It didn't hurt him, but he'd do that when he walked. I wouldn't let him hurt my horse. But that's how you do that in these situations. Just a little tiny touch. Just think about it yourself. If you had just something right there, it didn't hurt you real bad or whatever, but you wanted to favor it. And that would make him favor that foot, and he would look like he was limping. Absolutely. Good question, honey.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just wanting to know, I'm new, and I wanted to know, in some of the scenes you called John Hard Rock, and I wanted to know if that was your idea or if it was written in the script. You called him Hard Rock.
When you called John Hard Rock, was that scripted or was that your idea?
I know he called you Cowboy.
That was my idea, of course. I was the one who called Mike Tiger.
Oh, really?
That wasn't in the script.
Yeah.
Just happened in that first episode when I was looking at this beautiful kid that was so sweet, and I know it just came out. I said, "It's okay, Tiger.
Yeah.
Take it easy." From then on, he was called Tiger. Yeah.
Okay.
Linda.
I had nicknames for all my friends on those shows, other actors.
Mine is Shamu.
I love this man. All right, I'm going to tell a quick story on him.
What?
Never mind, we'll go on.
I'll tell you one about practical jokes. This just happened. There's a wind farm company going to put wind farms, and a bit off the ranch, but right in view of this beautiful view that Robert and Jennifer have from the ranch. And they're not happy, and a lot of people are very unhappy about this, and they want to fight it. So the wind farm, this has been going on a little while, but I'm going to paraphrase. So the wind farm company are doing an open day, and the people who are opposed to it decide, well, we're going to turn up at this open day because we want to see what literature they're giving out and what they're saying. So somebody said, well, yeah, we all turn up. It's going to look like this company has got a whole load of support they don't have. So I was there, and Robert said, well, why don't you wear a badge? And I chipped out, oh, clever, I can make a badge. So anyways, a few days later, Jennifer calls me and says, can you make these badges? And I said, well, yeah, if I can buy them, you know, just paper things, you know, they're happy to help things we do, just those stick-on things. So we go out, don't we, and we get the photograph the logo off a sign in somebody's private property, and we put, don't we, he tells me, he says, you can't. Anyway, I put no wind farm beside it, so it's got the logo with a wind farm crossed out, no wind farm. And we run off 150 of these things, and Jennifer's gone out, and he says, oh, that's great, that's really, I'm thinking, yeah, that looks really good. And I said to him, why don't we stick one on each of our foreheads and do a selfie and send it to Jennifer? So we put it on and we do this. Now I'm going to post this picture. Anyway, we've got this thing.
You got it, bro.
Yeah, I have it by the phone. So we post this with these wind farm stickers on, send it to Jennifer. Of course, he takes his wind farm sticker off, and I get straight on to WhatsApp to mail this thing over the internet to Jennifer. And we send it to her, and immediately comes back this reply, is this before or after the lobotomy? So anyway, during the course of doing this, it takes a minute or two to do it, and I completely forget I've got this sticker on my head. So we're just talking away, and I'm going to go back because I need to fix up my truck, load the truck up, get it ready to come here. And I start talking to him and saying, you know, I need to do this and I need to do that. And I can see this glint in his eye. And I can see it. And I'm thinking, what's going on? Anyway, we just carry on, and I'm walking around his house and picking things up and saying I've got to get them in the truck and that. He never said a word. Fortunately, he has a big mirror. And I go to go, no, seriously, I go to go and pick up my laptop bag, and as I'm walking by the, you know, like you do a double take, you go, what the And he was going to let me leave the house and drive home to the gas station to gas up with a no wind farm sticker on my head.
All right, I'm going to tell one. Tony's very big on pizza. He eats it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. And we've noticed over the last, maybe 5-6 years, there's a little something getting a little around us, you know. So Jennifer and I, about, I don't know, within the last year, we're started on it, you know. That's why I call them Shamu. And, you know, this and that and everything. And we were really making too much fun of him. We really were. But Tony's great. He like off a duck's back. He handles it very well. To the point where I said to Jennifer, I said, you know what? We have done this too much to him. This is not fair. We're always bugging him about his weight. We got to stop. And she says, you're absolutely right. So what are we going to do? And I said, well, I think that we should, you know, tell him that we love him, and we're not making fun of him. We love him, and we're not going to do it anymore. And she said, I think that's a good idea. So I said, well, when he comes over today, I'll do it. So he comes over and he sits on the couch, and I said, Tony, I said, Jennifer and I we have to apologize to you. We've made too much fun of you because you've gained a little weight, you know. And at this point he's going, oh, it's okay. Don't, you know. I'm saying, no, we're very sorry that we've been doing that to you. And it's okay, please don't worry, I'm fine with it. And I said, okay, just so you understand. By the way, one of the Teletubbies left, and they need a replacement. Was that great? Did we get you?
Yeah. So Shall I tell them one about the pheasant plucker?
Yes. Yes.
No, I can't tell that. Okay, two questions. Some more questions. Katie. Yeah.
How do you do that, Uncle? How do you be on the monkey? Yeah.
How'd you put on emergency?
How do you put on the emergency?
How did I get on emergency?
Yeah.
Why was I hired, you mean? How did I get it? Yeah, Jack Webb. Jack Webb had seen a movie that I did called The Hard Ride and wanted me to play Dr. Brackett.
No way.
And I did.
Back when you were spending a lot of time on Whiskey Row, who told the best stories? Who did you enjoy the most drinking in those?
Stories about Whiskey Row.
Yeah, who told the best stories?
Yeah, but be a little more specific.
I'm assuming you had a lot of friends coming in and hanging out.
I'm not going to tell that story.
Who had the biggest personality? Who did you enjoy the most coming in and telling stories, sitting around drinking?
No, she's tough. Smitty and I had dressing rooms on a row on Universal Studios, and it was called Whiskey Row. And the reason it was called Whiskey Row was because the first dressing room was Ward Bond, the second one was Frank McGrath, the third was Terry Wilson, the fourth was John Smith, the fifth was Robert Fuller, and the sixth was Lee Marvin. So you can imagine why it was called Whiskey Row. So every night, all the stunt guys and everybody usually wound up in my dressing room, having drinks and having a good time. Oh yeah, it was. Those were great times, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Is it true that they were busting holes through the walls so that it all came to one of the dressing rooms where you were drinking?
What happened?
I heard that when you were all drinking after a show or whatever, eventually all you were busting into through the walls that all of them came.
Well, sort of right. But we were drinking sarsaparilla. And it was John Smith, myself, and Frank McGrath.
But you all ended up in one,
Yes.
there was a big hole in the wall.
Yes. Quickly. John Smith and I had, our dressing rooms were side by side. And Frank McGrath was the next one down. And we always, all of us at the studio had a 7:30 call for 8 o'clock in the morning. 7:30 wardrobe, makeup, be on the set at 8. If I didn't remember what scene it was, or if Smitty didn't remember, I would run in and I'd holler through the wall, "What scene are we shooting today?" And he'd say, "Scene 42, you know, or vice versa. So we did this all the time. So one night, we are in John's dressing room, Smitty, which is adjoining walls between us. And Frank McGrath comes in, and we're going to sit there and play some cards and drink a little bit, sarsaparilla. Frank McGrath drank a fifth of gin and bitters a day on the set, trust me. I'm not kidding. So, anyway, we're all sitting in there, and we're having a good time in John's room. And Frank says, "Why are you guys hollering at each other all the time?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "In the morning, I hear you. You guys are hollering back and forth between them." I said, "Well, the reason is because we've got a wall between us, and we're trying to, find out what's going on." He said, "Well, you're disturbing me." And I said, "Well, I'm sorry about that." And he said, "I'll fix that." And he gets off the couch and takes a run at the wall and hits the wall that goes into my dressing room and puts a hole in the wall. lucky, whatever. John has just had enough to drink, and he's 6'3", 200 and some pounds. He says, "My turn." He gets up from the couch and hits the wall. Now the hole is this big. And I'm sitting there, it's going into my dressing room. All of the mortar and the brick and the, and then between the two of them, they knocked the whole wall down. I swear, into my room. John's room is immaculate. My room has a whole wall down there. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, we get out of there, go home, which was normal. Go back to work the next morning. I walked into my room and I go, oh my God. I got rubble up to here. I can't believe it. There's John's room. This looks beautiful. It's all nice, clean, whatever. But boy, I can see him. Don't have to holler. And then I finally realized that sarsaparilla can get you. So anyway, I managed to get into my wardrobe, whatever, get on the set. 2 minutes later, the assistant director comes up and says, "Lou Wasserman wants to see you." The two of us. Lou Wasserman owns Universal Studio. He's the president of Universal. He's the biggest man in Hollywood at this time. And he's in the tower, and he wants to see me and Smitty. Boots, Levi's, hat, gun belt. The two of us go up. We walk in. The secretary says, "He's waiting for you." And I know that there's going to be trouble. We walk in. We know this man. This is our second season at least. The show's a big hit. We're all right. We know the man. But yet, it's not a good deal what we do. We walk in. Lou Wasserman sits at the desk. He says, and he looks at the two of us, and we're standing there. Cowboy hats, boots, guns. He looks up, he says, "What happened last night?" John Smith says, "He broke the wall down." What these? I didn't break the wall down. He broke the wall down. He said, "No, he broke the wall down." He was like Laurel and Hardy. And finally he says, "I don't care who broke the wall down. Don't do it again. Get out of here." That's all he said, and we leave. By the time we got back to the set, the people that took care of all the dressing rooms was there and said, "What can I do for you guys? What do you want?" Mr. Wasserman sat me down here. And we said, "Well, I would like a new bed. I would like this. I'd like that." He said, "I'm going to do that. We're going to put a slider between the two of you. And you can close it." And we got two brand new dressing rooms with a slider between it. True story. That's why, Smitty and I got along so good. We had so much fun together on that show.
Can you talk about a practical joke that you played on Yul Brynner on the set of Return of the Magnificent Seven?
Unless you all haven't heard it 100 times.
It's okay.
Okay, that's the first one I did. I had a lot of fun with Yul Brynner. I'm not going to start from the beginning. You just want one practical joke that I did. Yul and I got along very, very well. And Yul did not like Steve McQueen. They had a big problem on the regular Magnificent Seven. And I knew that. So as we're a month now into the movie, and Yul and I are very close. We play, we drink a bunch, we play poker every day and whatever. But I knew that there was a big problem between me and Steve McQueen. And we're shooting in Alicante, Spain, and every morning Yul had his limousine flown over from Switzerland with his driver. and he would show up all ready in his black outfit and a big cigar, and he'd get out, and we've got 500, 600 extras, and then all waiting around to see Yule get out of his car and go into his dressing room. He's the biggest star in the world. But, yeah, so. So this one day, the day before that, I had a day off. I was in town. I walked into the store, and they had fan magazines. And some of the fan magazines had full-length pull-outs of Steve McQueen. This could be fun. So I buy a bunch of these. And the next morning, I go out and I tell the rest of the guys on the show that what I'm going to do, Warren Oates, and so anyway, I go in and I paste all of these full-length things of Steve McQueen, and I write terrible things coming out of his mouth. I mean, really terrible. To Yule, and paste them all over his dressing room. And we wait that morning. I'm there, I get there early to do all this and all. Here's all his 500 fans and the people on the show waiting. He pulls up with his driver, black hat, his black outfit, his big cigar. He gets out, he waves to everybody like he does, goes into his dressing room, sits with that big trailer, big silver trailer, and closes the door. And we stand there and nothing's going on. And I'm thinking, oh, I wonder what's happening. All of a sudden, you could see, BAM! You could see that you hit the side of the trailer starts to rock like this, and another fist hits another thing, another this, the door opens up, Yule steps out, and he goes to these 500 people and stops at me. That's my best. I said, oh shit, I turned and ran. He chased me, he knew it was me, and I didn't look. But he loved it, he really did. He was such a great guy to work with.
Talking of practical jokes, when you told me a little story about Dan Haggerty. Not feeling too well at one time on a boat.
No, we should hear some more questions.
No, these are things they haven't done. Somebody asked him about Dan Haggerty.
Tell us about Dan Haggerty.
Somebody's asked.
Want to hear a Dan Haggerty story? Yeah! Grizzly?
Yeah.
I don't know if you all know that he was one of my dearest friends. He and I have known each other 50 years. He's a sweetheart. He's a very, very close friend of mine, and I loved it. He loved me. We had a lot of fun together. But I was doing a show called Fishing Fever, and I had Dan on it as a guest for 10 days. And we were that particular show we were going to shoot in Bimini in the Bahamas. The fact that the show that I did was shot for 2 years in the Bahamas. I had a guest star on every one, but I got my pal, Dan. And I don't know if you all know it, but Dan was a wild man. Anybody can sleep with a bear. He was. And Dan was into everything. He could drink a little bit, he could sniff a little bit, he could do everything. But he was a good guy. He was one of the best. So anyway, I get him on the show. Comes over the first night. We're going to go fishing the next morning. And I said, Dan, how are you in the water? You okay with that? And he said, oh yeah, I'm fine. I don't care what the weather's like. I'm good. I've been on a boat before. And I said, okay, cool. Now don't forget, you got to be at the dock at 6 o'clock in the morning. Because we're leaving the dock at 6. The boat. Got a 54-foot hattery. Got a crew, camera crew, 3 cameras, 10 people. We're filming the show. He knows that. So I said, you got to be there at 6. 5:30 that morning, we're up having breakfast, and we can't find Dan. but we've been at a bar called the Complete Angler in Bimini, which is very famous, where Ernest Hemingway used to be all the time, and been drinking a little bit that night. Not sarsaparilla this time. And he was having a good time. But about 12 o'clock, I said, I gotta quit. You know, I gotta go to bed. And he said, I'm fine, don't worry about me, I'll be here, you know. So I said, okay, and I did. Anyway, we can't find him at 5:30, we can't find him at 5:45. Not in his room, not any place. And now the producer and the cameraman and everybody are saying, my God, where is he? And I said, listen, I know him, he'll be here. At exactly 6 o'clock, here comes Haggerty walking down the street in Bimini, which is a very small island in the Bahamas. He'd been up all night long, never been to bed, had done everything you could possibly do on the island of Bimini, but he's there and ready to work at 6 o'clock. And he gets on board, and I said, Dan, I said, you look like hell. And he said, I'm doing fine, don't worry about me. And I said, now the work, it's going to be a little rough out there. And he said, oh, it's okay, I never get sick, I'm okay. And I said, all right, partner, come on, let's go. Bang, we head out. We run about 30 minutes up to where we're going to fish. We're going to catch some big tuna. And about 20 minutes later, I look at him, and he's kind of green. So I said, Dan, you okay? He said, yeah, I'm fine. Why? I said, well, I'm just worried about you. And he said, don't worry about me. I said, you're not going to get sick, are you? You're not going to throw up. He said, no, I'm not going to throw up. What's wrong? I'm good. I'm in good shape. I said, all right, partner. All right. I don't want you to throw on. We go about another 10 minutes, and he's greener. And I said, and we're out in the transom of this boat that's going, but now it's starting to do this little thing. I said, how you doing, Dan? He said, I'm fine. Doing good. I said, I think I'll go down below to the galley and get a cup of coffee and sit down by the table down there. And I said, go ahead, do that. You sure you're okay? I'm fine, I'm okay. You're not going to throw up? Not me. Okay.
Not me.
So he goes down, he sits there, I can see him down there. Now we were fishing for big marlin, so our bait were mackerels. They were this big. So I took my pocket knife out and I cut an eye. I cut an eye out of a mackerel. It's this big. And I put it in my mouth. I got it back to my cheekbone. Hey, I'm famous for this. Trust me. I look at it, I said, Dad, you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I said, you okay? You're not going to throw up? He said, no, I'm not going to throw up. I said, oh, I'll come down and see you. And I go down the steps of the galley right there, and he's sitting there at the table. He's greener than $900. I could tell. And I said, Dan, you sure you're okay? You're not going to throw up? He said, no, I'm not going to throw up. And I said, okay. And I went, pow! I stick this eye out right at the table, looking up, and I said, well, here's looking at you, pal. And he went, gotcha! Kind of guy I am. I mean, what are friends for? They'll never forget it.
We have more? Who has another go? Lady there. Oh, Miss Stina.
Hi, Mr. Gill. When you went to see Jack Webb that day, you always talk about how you were convinced you were not going to do a doctor show, and dressed up and went to his office, and you were going to say no, refuse his offer, and yet you said, then you go on to say that 2 hours later, however, you came out with the script, and now you were going to do the show. So I was curious as to what he may have said to convince you to do that show.
Shut up and sit down. That's what he said to me. I never met the man in my life before. When I walked in and said, thank you, Mr. Webb, for thanking me, but I'm not interested in doing a medical show. And he said, shut up and sit down.
Right.
Jack Webb? Yes, sir. Then he said, do you drink?
Yeah.
I mean, he had the whole brass of Universal Studios in his office. And I said, yeah. He said, go fix yourself a drink and come back and sit down. Just like that. Well, I went and fixed a vodka about that big. And did. I came back, sat down, and he convinced me to walk out of there about 2 hours later with 12 pages of a world premiere movie and 12 one-hour episodes sold already to go on the air. What a dummy, huh? How lucky that he told me to shut up and sit down.
We're coming to the end, so probably another one or two questions. Anybody? Any volunteers?
Didn't we have one later?
I've already had a question.
No, it's okay. So nobody putting the hand up, you can go.
There you go. In the back.
Oh, Paige. Hi.
Paige. Hi, darling.
Hi. Tell us a little bit about your dancing career.
My dancing career? Oh, it didn't lasted about that long. My dancing career. It's very interesting. When I got into business as an extra, I was making $12.05 a day, which is a lot of money. Because before that I was making 35 cents an hour as the doorman at Grumman's Chinese Theater on Hollywood Boulevard. But when I got into the Screen Extras deal, my stepdad, which I call my dad now, had already been in the business as a dancer. And he was making $250 a week doing all of these musicals. And I knew how to dance a little bit. A little. I had some rhythm, what the heck, but I certainly couldn't dance like my dad or. But he said to me, he said, why don't you go on one of these dance interviews, and see if you can get in. It's better than $12 a day if you make $250 a week. And to do that, one musical number, if you guys think about it back in those days, could take 3 to 4 weeks to shoot. So those great musicals would shoot for 3, 4, 5 months. And that's a lot of work for everybody. I wound up, the first one I did was I Love Melvin. And I danced in almost every number on that, and I think I worked on that thing for 4 months at $250 a week, which is fantastic in 1955. But, I was never a great dancer. Yeah, I certainly wasn't a Gene Kelly or a Fred Astaire, but I took advantage of the fact that I could do that. Got me my Screen Actors Guild card because of I Love Melvin doing an acrobatic number, and that was a big help. And then, of course, yes, I got to work on Joan for Blondes with Marilyn, which was a lot of fun.
I think one more, and then we're going to have to Robin.
Did you like working with Shirley Temple, and did you ask her about her childhood career?
Shirley Temple?
Yes. Didn't you work with her on Wagon Train?
Not Shirley Temple.
Oops, sorry.
No, wait a minute, Robin.
Sorry. And then Coachella. Sorry.
Somebody else. Who could it have been? Why is that for the cello?
They just helped me.
Well, it sounds the same. Well, it's got the same syllables. Robin, that's great. Yes, absolutely. I loved working with Annette.
She had a
The
child.
Mickey Mouse Club. It wasn't that she was saying, no, Annette was beautiful. She was a lovely girl. I had a lot of fun working with her. I really liked her. She was very ill and, of course, passed away a long time later. But no, Annette was fantastic. She was a sweet gal and a lot of fun to work with. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I think we're going to get out of here, and they're going to need the room back, so we need to close down, right?
No, we got time for another question.
No.
Yeah.
Got time for 1 or 2 more questions if somebody's got them.
He does this every time. He says to me, you fix the
Got it, right.
schedule.
We got one right here.
I was wondering, if you talking about your horse earlier, I was just wondering if you still go horseback riding and what's your favorite breed of horse?
If I still ride, and what's my favorite breed of horse? Of course, a quarter horse, without doubt. It's a cowboy horse. That's, I have two. We had three, but got two now. I don't ride so much anymore. Tony comes over from England and spends 6 months a year with us and rides my horse every day almost. He and Jennifer ride. But yeah, no, that's a quarter horse is the only way to go. So yeah, for me. But yes, I have to. We have two beautiful horses. Yeah. Sure.
Jess Harper and Cooper Smith, they wore different clothes, they rode different horses. In your mind, how else are they different?
How were they different?
How are they different? How do you think?
That's a fabulous question. It really is. And I'll tell you, I started wagon train no more than 2 weeks after Laramie ended. So Jess Harper is now Cooper Smith. Okay? I did not want to bring Jess Harper into wagon train. It wouldn't be fair to me, it wouldn't be fair to you guys. Just think about it. So I changed everything. I changed the color of the gun belt, the hat, the clothes, the boots, everything. And as far as character is, the written script says pretty much how Cooper Smith was going to say or do or this. So it was easy for me to become Coop and not Jess. But there was a lot of Jess and Robert Fuller over there too, because it has to be, because it's coming from me anyway. You understand what I'm saying? And yeah, but I tried to keep the look of Jess as far away from Cooper Smith, because it wouldn't have been right. And that's what I tried to do. Good question.
Oh boy. The young lady at the back there.
I would like to know, what's the most difficult director you ever worked with?
The most difficult director.
Because I know we've talked about all the great directors we had and all the fun times you had with them, but there's some difficult directors too, and I was wondering if you ever had any problems.
Well, I know that Henry Hathaway was your favorite director. Aren't you the actor that worked with me once or twice a few years ago? What are you doing in the background there? I can't believe you. Well, honestly, Dennis, you asked me if I had a difficult director?
Yes. But wait, but Bobby's back here too.
Dennis Burns back there. No. What, is that Bobby back there too? No. What are you guys doing back there? You should be up here. All right, I'm going to answer this real quick. Yes, I did have a problem. I had a problem with Bill Whitney. Do you know who he was? Well, thought he was the most famous Western director in the world. He wasn't, as far as I was concerned, because I had a fist fight with him. That's good. Yeah, no, I had a big problem with him. Yeah, I had. That's the only one. I love directors, except you. You had your problem with Hathaway. And he was a nasty guy. I never worked with him, but I know you did.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, I appreciate your answer.
When the networks started putting the kibosh on how many guys you hit.
How many, what?
When the network, through political pressure, started changing the scripts.
Right.
So you could only kill off one person.
Right.
Or wound them. Did you ever push back?
Well, Bobby, you know, I couldn't. What are you going to do? You and I, we didn't have any strength to do anything like that. I mean,
What, a quarter load?
no. No, John Champion, that all came from the network. And that was standards and practices. And the network ran us. If you remember that, and I know you do because you spent a lot of time working with network people.
I got the...
No, you can't fight the network. If they said, no, you can't, you can only hit the guy 2 times, and you can only shoot 1 guy instead of 4. That was it. And that was Bobby, that was Teddy Kennedy, that fought this thing, and the Parent Teachers Association, yeah.
Okay.
I'm so interested, but Bobby, I'm really sorry I didn't see you there. I would have waved if I'd seen you there. You were hiding. Anyway, listen, we've got to close it down, folks. I should have said at the beginning. Some of you will be videoing and taping. That's fine. We never object to that. But it must not go on the internet. It must not be sold. This is for your own use and your own pleasure only. So please, if you could respect that. We'll have our own film and we'll put it on the fandom for people to see. But anything that you take and keep, and the way stories that you hear are for you guys, told in the way for you guys. So please stay with that. Now, Larry needs this room, so I'm going to need everybody to kind of go reasonably quickly. I understand that Sheriff Moore is going to have a photograph. That's going to be in the corridor where our tables were. If you deep in that picture, make your way down there.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks so much for being here. Supporting us. I love you.
Thank you.